Okay. 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 Hey, hi Raghu. Good evening.
Hello, hi Vasu. Good evening.
Yes. So how are you, Raghu? How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. So Raghu, let us start with the interview first, and we can go with the self intro.
Sorry.
Yeah, we can go with the.
Hello.
We can go with your self intro. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Hi Vasu. So as you see my resume, I hold around 10 years of experience in banking domain. So in the banking domain, particularly, I work with complaints department, account opening, and then payments. So I started my career with HCL, and then moved to the Citibank direct operations. Then moved to the PayPal for around 5.5 years of experience in PayPal for complaints and the payments. And here's ITSS. So in all my 10 years of experience, I joined as the analyst and quality analyst, and then business analyst, and then operation, and then associate manager, and now working as a Scrum Master here in the ITSS. So this is how my journey went from the day one. So I have a good have a good idea on the banking domain from various culture and various what to say, their banking regulators. And particularly now I'm having a 2.5 years of experience in the Scrum, and recently I have done my certification with scrum.org. I'm looking for opportunities in the Scrum Master as well as the business analyst in upcoming days. That's it.
Okay. Okay, fine. Nice to hear that. Okay, 1 minute. Okay. So you mentioned that you worked as a Scrum Master, right? And you know very well that this position is for a Scrum Master, correct?
Yes,
So,
I know that.
what is the, according to you as a Scrum Master, what is the ideal duration for a sprint?
So it may vary actually 1 to 4 weeks, but I took 2 weeks as an ideal time for the sprint actually, the Scrum.
Okay. Okay. So your team, what is the duration of the sprint of the team like which you are working as a Scrum Master?
Actually, it was initially it was 3 weeks, but based upon the experience and based upon the upcoming, based upon the deliverables, we just sorted out in the 2 weeks. So now I am working with the 2 weeks sprint as a project.
Okay, good. So, what are the artifacts in Scrum?
Artifacts, we have 3 artifacts. So first of all, like a product backlog, sprint backlog, and then the product backlog, sprint backlog, and then improvements. Sorry.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
1 minute.
Okay. Increment, sorry. Product backlog, sprint backlog, and then increment.
Okay. Okay. So, moving to the next. So, what are the 3 pillars of Scrum?
So 3 pillars like transparency, inspection, and then adaptation. So these are the main 3 pillars of the Scrum actually.
Okay, good. So, how do you manage dependencies and bring transparency to dependencies in your current project?
Okay, as the first part of the Scrum sprint, so we used to call it as the sprint planning. So for some projects, we come to know in the sprint planning itself for that particular project, we have dependencies in the other sprint, other Scrum teams actually. So or else at the end of the time, we may need help of the other teams. So those are the 2 different things in the dependency. And from my from my experience, what I observed in the sense, so if in case the current sprint facing any dependency issues, we'll take that as a backlog, and it will be implemented in the next sprint.
Okay, 1 minute. Okay, so what is the difference between a Scrum and a Kanban? Any idea about? Yeah.
No, to be frank, I don't know about the Kanban first of all, because I haven't worked in that. I worked with the Jira and as a Scrum, and I don't have any knowledge about the Kanban first of all.
Okay. Okay, fine. No issues. So moving to next. So why are we doing relative estimation in Scrum?
Okay, so coming to the relative estimation. So whatever the project, I am not speaking about the Scrum individually. So whenever we are going to implement any project, we should know that the estimation of the project, like how many people we need and how many time it's going to do, and how long it will go. So we need an estimation for all the projects. But as a Scrum, we call it as the relative estimation. And based upon that, by using the Scrum pillar transparency, the pillar, we should know that each and every one of the teams, Scrum team will come to know that how long it will take and how can we complete the task. So for that, I use the Fibonacci series to get the story point. So before to that, for each and every sprint, we have a user stories, and for each and every user story we have a story points. So if I'm just going to ask in the front of the Scrum team, like developers and testers, for this complete sprint, how many story points we need, each and everyone, they just post some ideas for their ideas actually. So to consolidate that, we need this relative estimation, and for that I use the Fibonacci series methodology.
Okay. Okay. 1 minute. Okay. So as a Scrum Master, how do you influence and motivate your team? Can you give an example?
Okay. So first of all, as a project manager, like as a SME, as a team lead, so they have to support the team and they have to motivate the team. But as a Scrum Master, I follow the Scrum values, like one of the major values, like servant-based relationship. So as a Scrum Master and for the team, so I should get the report first of all, like based upon the Jira report, like burn up chart or burn down charts, and I will see where the team is lagging, and based upon the observation what we had, and it should be like a one-on-one sessions, or like the feedbacks are not given in the front of the team for the motivation purposes. So it should be in the different manner, and if the team is doing good, and we don't need to do anything special to that, just we need to motivate and ask them to go in the same manner. So so that's how I differentiate two things, like motivation and the feedback.
Okay. Okay, fine. Okay. Okay. Moving to the next question. So what are the process improvements you have implemented in your project? Process improvements.
You mean the Scrum?
Yeah.
Okay. Process improvement the sense. Okay. So I joined the team where they don't follow the Scrum principles first of all. They don't know what they need to do based upon the Scrum, but they were doing their work regularly. and it is not tracked anywhere. So once I joined in, so I observed closely with them. So what as a Scrum Master, I need to suggest them, I need to advise them, and I explained to them that these are the things that we need to follow, and that's how we can able to monitor ourselves, and based upon the product owner help and the developer and the tester. So as a Scrum Master, I'm just aligning everyone. So I played a relationship like a bridge between all these three set of people, and uh, make them to change the way what they see in the existing process. And after the implementation of the Scrum ideas and Scrum Scrum ceremonies on their daily day-to-day life, so they come to know that it was a better, easier for them to track their work, and easier for the product owner also to give them the clients the weekly basis or bi-weekly basis the completed product. So this is the process improvement based upon the Scrum Master I gave the team, and now we are having a very good relationship between all these three, and that's how I make my impact in them.
Okay. Okay. So, what is the biggest challenge you face as a Scrum Master, and how did you resolve that challenge?
Okay, as I mentioned earlier, the in my organization, so once I joined, they don't know that what they need to do. So initially, from the day one, that is one of the biggest challenging factor for me, which I think that. But even though I get the help from my experienced people, those who are my seniors from them, and the main challenge here is like to getting them the story points, because the developer would say some story points for the user story, and tester would say something different from that. So this is the major clash between them, because because here developer and tester are not in the same zone, and they have their different set of mindset actually. So so initially for me, that is the one of the biggest challenge, because as a team we have to deliver something, but here it is not like that. So make them understand, and I implemented the relative estimation methodology, and from then, so slowly, like 2 or 3 months later, it is not that rapid growth, but I would say that within 2 or 3 months, they know that we should do something for the delivery, and that's how our work improves. So that is the one of the major challenge that which I faced here, like to getting a story points from the developers and the testers.
Okay. Okay, fine. Okay. So, what are the various formats to conduct a retrospective meeting?
Okay, retrospective meeting is so as I follow like what went well and what didn't went well, and also other Scrum Master, like one of my other teammates, they follow like the sailboat methodology, because in the retrospective we should know like what went well in the current sprint and what didn't went well. So we should know that for particularly. So so these are the two different methodology which I know and I implemented in my retrospective meetings so far.
Okay. Okay, fine. Okay. 1 minute. Okay. So moving to the next. So what are the responsibilities of you as a Scrum Master?
Okay, my responsibility here is like I'll be working closely with the product owner to get the product backlog items to be prioritized like based upon the master methodology, and then conducting a Scrum planning meeting on the day one. So if just going to plan this sprint for 10 days, like 2 weeks of time, 10 working days. Then the day one, as a Scrum Master, I should initiate the Scrum sprint planning meeting, and then from then day two, day three, likewise. So from the day two, I have to initiate the daily Scrum call, but it is not mandatory that Scrum Master should be there. It should be like developers and testers should be there. So I was optional, but as a what to say as a developing Scrum Master, and I should give the feedbacks to the my team. So I just make myself presence on all the daily Scrum call meetings for 15 minutes, and then on the ninth day, the sprint review will be happen, and then the 10th day, which is the last day of the sprint, we will just take for the sprint retrospective meeting. So these are my roles in the sprint planning, Scrum.
Okay. Okay. 1 minute.
And if you need additional to that, I can also explain the additional things about not about the sprint, also the upcoming sprints. Also, we will discuss on that. So it is not going to complete in the one sprint, right? So for the sprint two also, we will do the product backlog meeting in the first sprint itself on a particular day. And if the sprint is not going to complete within the initiative, like within a quarter, then it's going to be other quarter. Then we'll use the small room planning, like a SRP planning. So those are the areas where I just play my role.
Okay, fine. So what is the output of a product backlog refinement meeting?
Okay, a product backlog refinement meeting. So output of that will be we'll be going to prioritize the items. So what should be going first and what should be going next. So as per the product backlog meeting, so product owner and the Scrum Master and the team will be there. So the output would be the prioritizing the items, user stories.
Okay, 1 minute. Okay. So this is a scenario-based question. Okay. So you are a Scrum Master. A member of the Scrum team does not want to participate in any Scrum meetings. Okay. And he or she is considering it as a waste of time. So how will you deal with this kind of attitude?
Okay. So answering to this, first of all, I will understand. So why he or she is not actually actively participating on the meeting, and why he or she is thinking in that manner. And as a Scrum Master, I will just finalize that, and I will just have a one-on-one with him or her, and I will just ask her to explain what are the things that went wrong on the meeting so far, and what made an impact for her or him to not participate in the meetings. So based upon the feedback or like her or his attitude, I will just explain that the daily Scrum call is how important for the sprint and also for the career growth. So here, as a Scrum Master, if I'm going to just going to implement the Scrum ideas, the sprint planning. So here, as the attitude person, they won't that much attack to that. But if I'm just going to tell in the manner of database, like this is how you are going to track yourself on daily basis, and if you have been worked yesterday and based upon that next day Scrum call meeting, you should know that why we haven't worked and what we need to do. So that's how you would like to see yourself, and so that is the way you can able to grow in your career. So these are the extra steps which I have just go out of the box and explain the particular person and make her or him to understand the daily Scrum call meeting, how important it was. And I will just follow for next 2 to 3 days how effective the meeting went, like one-on-one went. And then again, I had a one-on-one. So if it doesn't went well, actually. So that's how I deal with this attitude. Because you know that Scrum, as a Scrum Master or like as a person, if we are going to implement some other ideas rather than the monetary benefits, rather than the career growth to the particular person, they won't understand that much actually. So that is my personal feel. So that is the reason I'm just coming out of the Scrum Master box. So I'll just implement these things to make them to understand, because everyone is working for the monetary benefit or like something else. So that we should impact that actually we should create the impact on them, so they will just come back to the meeting automatically to see where they are.
Okay,
and how
got
they
it,
work.
got it, Raghu. Okay, moving to the next question. So, how do you calculate velocity and capacity of your Scrum team?
Okay, so velocity should be captured based upon the story points divided by sprints.
Sorry,
so
can I come again?
Okay, velocity can be measured by the story points divided by sprints. If I'm just going to complete 40 or 50 story points in 2 sprints, then so that is the value of my velocity of the team.
Okay, go ahead.
And the capacity should be the individuals, how they are working for 8 hours. So that is the capacity. So this is the 2 different things, like velocity and capacity.
Okay. Okay, fine. Okay. So what is the difference between an epic and a user story?
Okay. So epic should be completed within a quarter, and epic will have the many user stories, and user stories will be completed within a sprint actually.
Okay.
Each and every user story will have the so what we are going to do, and as a developer I'm going to do this, and so that user end can able to see this. So that's how acceptance criteria should be matched for the user.
Okay.
And epic is going to complete within a quarter. So that is the time duration between epic and user story.
Okay, fine. Okay. Okay, what are the techniques you use for estimating user stories and epics?
What are the techniques?
See, if you are going to work on an epic or a user story, you need to estimate, right? You mentioned in the stage.
Story points.
Yeah. Okay. So let me repeat the question again. What are the techniques you use for estimating stories and epics?
Okay, for epic, I used to go with the Fibonacci series, and for user stories, I go with the T-shirt methodology.
Okay, fine. Let me move to the next. Next is, what is the throughput?
Sorry, I didn't get your question.
What is a throughput? Throughput. Have you heard about the term, or have you used it before? No. Okay.
No.
Okay.
Sorry. Actually, I just made a mistake on my previous question, which is like different the estimation for the epic and the user story. For epic, I used to call the t-shirt planning, and for the user story, I used for the Fibonacci series.
Okay. Okay. Okay, 1 minute.
Okay.
Okay. Let me move to the next. So why and what you will be doing in, see, why do you need a daily scrum? This is one question. And then the second question is what you will be doing in a daily scrum call.
Okay. So why we need the daily scrum? Okay, as a scrum team, we want to based upon the daily call, the daily scrum meeting, we will know that are we completing the daily sprints because once we're going to run, once you're going to have the without daily call, once you're going to have the review at the ninth day, we don't know that how we processed on daily, because Scrum is the incremental product actually. So Scrum is the incremental methodology. So it should be incremental, having a daily basis actually. So based upon the daily call, we will come to know that how we are working daily and what we should do in the upcoming days. If something went wrong in the previous day, and that should be our takeaway in the daily call, and it should not repeat in the upcoming days, and we have to do more cautious on that. So as a Scrum is the incremental thing for the product, so the daily call is mandatory to know where we stand actually as a team. And what is the second question? I think
I asked two questions. One is why you need a daily scrum, and the second thing is second question is what you will be doing in a daily scrum. Okay, fine. Let me move to the next question. Okay, 1 minute. Okay, let me move. In the time being, see, I think this is like running out of time, and 10 minutes we have. So considering the time, like I'm going with the next. Okay, just 1 minute. Okay, so how do you communicate your status to your stakeholders?
So as a Scrum Master, so I haven't contacted any stakeholders so far, because we have to deliver to the product owners, because he will do the review on that. So, and the stakeholders will come on the retrospective, which is like the 9th day, so on the review day. So as a Scrum Master, I haven't contacted any stakeholders so far, and I have just hand out to the product owner, and I've just tracked the daily works, and I'll just make them to complete the sprint. Like I will just make them to get the DOD from the product owner, and then I will just hand out to product owner, and they will handle the stakeholders so far. So that's how I work.
Okay, fine. So what if a new user or a requirement, what if a new story or a requirement is added by a product owner in between a sprint? Okay, so how will you handle the situation?
Okay, so this is called as the creep actually. So sprint creep. So this actually we call it as a creep, because once we just plan in the PB and just going to end, or we just started the sprint, and immediately product owner comes and give us any additional things. So we'll just make them to clarify which is the more priority, and if that needs to be done immediately for the sake of client, then we'll just take it forward and start using that user stories, because as a agile methodology, the incremental and the change of the development should be added, but it should be based upon the priority. And once we got the stakeholder and product owner approval, and we will just explain as Scrum team. So if just we are going to add this in the current sprint, then definitely we are not going to complete the mentioned sprint as we are following. Even then they are ready to accept, then we will accept that particular user story and complete it.
Yeah, okay, fine. So moving to the next question. So if one of your senior team members is giving wrong estimate during estimation, okay, for example, instead of 2 story points, he's giving 13 story points, then like how do you resolve that issue?
So that is the reason I'm so during the relative estimation, I will just ask each and everyone in the front of the team. So for the relative estimation, like how many user stories that need. So if as the question clearly mentioned about, so he is giving a complete wrong answer, like 2 for 2 that 20 or 30. Definitely, I'm just asking the question. So why we need this much time on this particular, and if everyone is going to accept that, I'm just going to do that, or else I will just take as a feedback and I'll just go for the planning focus methodology and use the Fibonacci series in, like actually not in front of the team, like in the user browser. So I will just take an average, and even then it is more than that. I won't accept that as a user story, and I'll just highlight to the product owner.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. Okay, fine. Okay. How do you convince if 1 or 2 members see, consider the situation that your team members, 1 or 2 team members are adamant to follow some other process, whatever they are doing. Okay. So you are suggesting some process and they are suggesting the old process itself. So in this situation, how do you convince those team members? So I'm telling you very clearly that this process is agile related process, whatever you are trying to do. And whatever they have done previously is something like which is not like 100% agile. Okay, so how will you convince those team members? How will you handle the situation?
Okay. First of all, I will understand what was going there and why the things is like that, because without analyzing that, I cannot implement directly the agile methodologies. So I just ask for some answers from them. So why they are doing like this and what is behind that, and if then that reason is not acceptable, then I'll just explain agile methodologies, and this is how we have to work on. So that is the thing we have been agreed with the product owner based upon the sprint stats. So as a team, we have to work together, because if you both of you, or if you three of you not aligned in the project, then we are not able to complete or deliver the sprint on time. So considering that, I will based upon these explanations, I will just request them to align with the team.
Okay. Okay, fine. So next question: how do you view a burn down chart in Jira? Any idea? I can see you have mentioned Jira in your resume. So I believe you worked in Jira, right? So how to view burn down chart in Jira? If you're not aware, no issues. I can move to the next question.
No, please.
Okay, fine. Okay. And what is a JQL and where it is used in Jira? Okay, I am moving to the next. Okay, and how to use Confluence effectively?
So what I use the second friend in the sense, so I used to track myself, and I used to track what are the things has been done in the sprint. For example, if I'm just going to conduct any daily calls, like a review meetings and the retrospective meetings, those will be recorded and uploaded in the Confluence. So that's how I use the Confluence, and it is a betterment of the tracking process for the within the team. So based upon the transparency, which is the main pillar of the, which is one of the pillars of the Scrum. So once I'm just going to upload, or I enter any details in this Confluence, it is going to be enabled for the people who is working in the team to see that. So that's how I use the Confluence.
Okay, yeah, I'm good. Okay, so coming to the next question. So what are your strength and your weakness?
Okay, my strength is like I used to talk a lot. So sorry, my weakness is like I used to talk a lot, but at a Scrum Master, we know it's a time boxed event, but my main drawback is like I used to talk a lot. So even though it is a glimpse of pieces, so I will just try to explain in the deep manner. So that is the one of the main drawbacks which I have faced, and I'm just trying to improve. Strength is like I can able to convince the people in the way what they are actually. So that's I'm very good in that. So that's how I treated the team, and I got the output from them actually.
Okay. Okay, fine. So I can see from your resume that you have worked in Jira. That's why I just put up that question from Jira.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, fine. Let it be. Okay, Raghu. I'm just winding up our call. So, do you have any questions for me?
Okay, so as of now, on the interview basis, I don't have any questions.
Okay.
And one more thing is like, so how for example, if I'm just going to select in newer organization, so how it should be, because is it going to be a existing Scrum team which I'm going to work on, or like it's going to be a complete new team? So how it should be like that?
Okay. See, the team like whichever you are going to work is already an existing team which has been in place for 1 year almost. Okay.
Okay.
So it will be like handling 8-member team.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions, Raghu, or we can close?
We can close. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Raghu. Yeah, we will connect
so much,
again. 1 minute.